Hello everyone, welcome to AKS. This is Santosh Koka. Today we will discuss one question. Before that, we will check one small information. APPSC Group 1 English Medium offline live online classes have been started. Our services including digital classrooms, time-bound completion of syllabus, state level test series, updated study material and monthly current affairs magazine. For more information, you can call these numbers or no. So here main section of free initiative related to subject environment. Question for 11th September 2024. Critically evaluate the implications of the Forest Conservation Amendment Act 2023 on forest governance and tribal rights in India. So before writing our answer, we need to follow our important strategy. That is 3 steps before writing answer. First step is question reading. Within 1 minute, we need to check what are the important question tags are there and also keywords are there, right? So here, what is the topic? Forest Conservation Amendment Act, very important recent amendment, right? That is related to our forest, right? Environment related issues, very important. So how many parts are there? 2 parts are there. First is we need to identify or we need to provide some implications of that particular act, and also forest governance and tribal rights in India. Only one part here, right? We need to divide our keywords here. Next, coming to what are the important question tag here? Critically evaluate. Critically means we need to focus on criticality here. Critically means we need to focus on giving more challenges or more negative impacts, right? Here we need to focus on, but we need to follow our balanced approach. We need not against government acts, or we need not go against our constitutional provisions, etc., right? So we need to be in a balanced approach here, right, as a bureaucratic officer. Next, coming to our keywords, what are the important keywords here? Implications. Implications is first important keyword here. Here we need to provide related to forest governance. This is second important keyword, and tribal rights also third important keyword. But before implications, we need to give some information related to positive information related to particular act. That is, we can give some significance, right, or we can give some highlights, important features or highlights of this particular act. Okay, that is especially related to positive. Then we will talk about negatives, means implications, right? So next we need to focus on implications of forest governance first, and then implications of on tribal rights next. Before conclusion, we need to provide some needed measures also, right? That is the important information or important exercise in the particular step 1 question reading, right? Next, brainstorming. Within 1 minute here, we need to identify or we need to recall important aspects or keywords related to our topic. What is the topic here? Forest Conservation Act, Amendment Act, right? So here, compulsorily we need to give our Forest Conservation Act 1980 previous acts, right? So other than that, we have to talk about our Forest Rights Act, especially in 2006, right? So this is also important keyword need to be included in our answer. Next, we have additionally we have PASA Act also we need to include. Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas Act 1996. This is also very important, need to be included here. Next, we have National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, right, NCST, and also we are talking about forest conservation, right? So we need to include our forest cover related data from our India State Forest Report, right? India State of Forest Report, that is also recent report, very important, right? So next we have some policies or programs or important afforestation programs, right? So we need to include that National Afforestation Program we have, and also we have Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority, that is CAMPA, very important, Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority. And also we need to include some important reports also here, right? Global Biodiversity Outlook is there regarding our particular environment or biodiversity related issues, right? Global Biodiversity Outlook. And also we have some environment impact assessment is also there. We need to include here because we are talking about conservation and management, right? Forest management. Next, we can include our SDG goals also here, right? Related to this particular topic, we have only one related to biodiversity, land on life on land, especially, right? So all these important keywords need to be included in our answer, right? So coming to our introduction part here. So to write a decent introduction, we are starting with current affairs introduction, right? So here we need to start with our introduction with the current affairs issues. Means the Forest Conservation Amendment Act has recently widespread debate on its implications, especially because recently we have seen in the news that National Commission for Scheduled Tribes NCST and some tribal organizations have criticized or voiced their apprehensions regarding the impact of this law on forest dwellers, livelihoods, and etc. Right? That is the case here. We need to mention these type of sentences. We need not only start with our Forest Conservation Amendment Act, right? We need to provide some recent debates or recent discussions, etc. Right? Other than that, we need to add some background topic or static background here. So we can tell about here Forest Conservation Amendment Act, right? 2023. What is this? What is its aim? Or it was passed in the context of India's growing focus on infrastructure development and energy security, right? We need to give such certain points here. Tribal, environmental, and groups have raised concerns about this particular potential to weaken forest productions also, right? Here only we can include our Forest Conservation Act, whatever we have previously. Some acts, right? Recent previous acts we need to give in a recent previous background, static background. This is perfect introduction. We are combining current affairs introduction and static background. Okay, so here next, coming to our important information body part, here we need to start with our positive factor, that is highlights of our act. What are the important features of the act? First important thing is exemptions. We have some exemptions, right? What are the important exemptions? Exemptions for strategic projects we have. The act exempting land within 100 kilometers of international borders from forest clearance regulations for especially national security and strategic purposes, right? So for example, we have Arunachal Pradesh and also we have Ladakh related states we have bordering with other international countries, right? So for that purpose, this construction of roads in border states like Arunachal Pradesh and Ladakh for military purposes will now face fewer bureaucratic hurdles after this enacting this particular act, right? That is the important issue. Next, coming to second important positive measure is exclusion or highlights of particular phenomenon, certain categories of land, right? Exclusion of certain categories of land is also very important point here. So because here it clarifies that certain land types, such as land that ceased to be recorded as forest prior to 1980, whatever we have Forest Conservation Act, will not be considered forest land, easing restrictions for private projects here, right? They are providing some restrictions here, right? Private projects. So for example, this change could impact our 10 million hectares what we have of disputed land across India, especially in states like Maharashtra we have, right? Maharashtra, or we have Chhattisgarh, right? In some areas we have some disputed land also, right? So this change could impact them, right? Next, coming to our third important significant or important feature of this act, green credits for private developers. Green credit, that is also very important. Green credits for private developers. The act introduces provisions for compensatory afforestation in non-forest areas, incentivizing developers to create our green credits. Very, very important. For example, companies can undertake afforestation projects on degraded lands to offset their forest usage, right? In line with we have national afforestation program, right? We need to connect these type of initiatives or programs or funds, etc., right? So we need to talk about direct important keywords here. Implications. First of all, implications on forest governance. First important thing, right? On forest governance we have, very important. So here we need to talk about decentralization of decision making. That is also very important. Decentralization, right, of decision making, especially DM. So here the act shifting the some decision making authority from central to state, right? Central to state authorities. That is very important here. So allowing quicker clearances. If state governments given this particular decision making power, then some projects clearance will be faster, right? That is the important feature here. So while this may reduce bureaucratic delays, but concerns have been raised about the risk of diluting safeguards in forest-rich states like we have Madhya Pradesh and we have Odisha. That is also we need to focus on. Some concerns have been raised about the risk of diluting safeguards, right? Next, second important implication on forest governance is potential increase in forest diversion. That is also very important feature here. So negative impact: by simplifying the clearance process for certain categories of land, the act could lead to increased diversion of forest land for development, right? Here we are connecting each and every example also. For example, we can take our Jharkhand state where mining activities are already extensive. This particular feature could further stress forest ecosystems, impacting our wildlife habitats. That is also very important thing, right? Next, coming to third impact on our biodiversity. That is also very important. Biodiversity impact is also there because accelerated development in forest areas could lead to fragmentation of wildlife habitats, right, threatening biodiversity at large. For example, here we can include our global biodiversity outlook report, right? It is highlighting need for stricter forest governance to preserve biodiversity also, recent outlook, right? So other than that, here third important keyword, that is implications on tribal rights. We are dividing each and every keywords from question itself, right? We are not confusing at all, and also we are not make confuse to the examiner also, right? We are clear, simple and clear, right? So first important implication on tribal rights is potential conflict with our Forest Rights Act. What we have? Forest Rights Act 2006 we have, right? The Forest Conservation Amendment Act 2023 could conflict with our previous rights. 2006 have tribal rights, right? So which recognizes the rights of forest dwellers. There are concerns that development activities might override these rights, right? For example, tribal communities in Chhattisgarh, especially Chhattisgarh we have, and Jharkhand, they have protested that their claims of forest lands may be bypassed for mining and industrial projects, especially in these states, right? That is the main concern from tribal people. Next, impact on livelihood, also very important thing. That is also very important. Tribes depending on minor forest produce, MFP, for their livelihood might face reduced access to forest resources due to this particular act, right? Forest clearances and all. For example, here, as per a study by Ministry of Tribal Affairs, over 100 million forest dwellers, whatever we have, 100 million forest dwellers depending on MFP only, right? Minor forest produce only for sustenance, which would be threatened by industrial development. That is the important fact here. And also third important implication here, undermining our traditional practices also. Traditional practices, that is, this act mainly focusing on commercial utilization may disrupt our traditional tribal practices of forest management, because here they are focusing on some communities practicing shifting agriculture, right? Shifting agriculture, that is very important here. So in the for example, we have northeast states, particularly Nagaland and Meghalaya, fear the new regulations may interfere with their ecological practices here, right? So that is the important thing here. Other than that, we need to provide some solutions for these implications. Whatever we have challenges or solution, particular issues or problems, we need to provide needed measures as a solutions, right? Very important. So first important thing is strengthening our tribal consultation. We need to consult with tribal people. That is the very foremost thing, mandatory. It is very mandatory and meaningful. Consultations with the tribal community should be enforced before any project affecting their lands is cleared, right? We can include here PASA Act. PASA Act we have 1996, right? So here mandating Gram Sabha consultations for land use, which must be harmonized with the new law, right? We are every time PASA Act related issues, we are connecting or contacting Gram Sabha or consultations, right? So that is the case here. Next we have safeguards for biodiversity. Biodiversity safeguard should be there, right? Needed measure. So because here we need to focus on our environment impact assessment, right? Should be made mandatory for projects under the new exemptions to protect fragile ecosystems, right? For example, we can include Western Ghats here, right? Western Ghats, a biodiversity hotspot, would benefit from these type of EIS, environment impact assessments, to prevent degradation, right? So third important thing is compensation. We need to provide compensation and also rehabilitation for particular these forest people or tribal people, right? Ensure adequate compensation and rehabilitation for tribals displaced by forest diversions along with guaranteed alternative livelihood. We need to provide alternative livelihood. For example, we have Forest Rights Act 2006, what we have providing compensation, but its implementation needs to be strengthened. Implementation problem is there. We need also talk about this, right? Implementation problem. So these are the measures, right? Finally, we need to provide 1 to 1.5 futuristic note here. So Forest Conservation Act representing significant shift in India's forest governance, very good. But if we follow above measures going forward, a robust framework integrating forest rights or environmental assessments or local participation will be crucial here, right? So thus the future lies in striking a harmonious balance between growth and also ecological responsibility. We need to give or include these type of keywords, or we can include here already previously discussed One Health approach, right? One Health approach, very important thing. One is human and also environment and also animals, right? This is One Health, right? So we can connect here. Otherwise we can connect SDG 15, land, life on land, very important thing, right? So all these important objectives or targets can be written or included in the conclusion part, right? This is the perfect approach for this question, right? So next, coming to our day 64 main section, of question for 12th September 2024, discuss the role of the Hyderabad Pharma City project in the industrial geography of Telangana. What are the environmental and social challenges associated with this project? That is related to our Telangana geography, very, very important topic recently seen in the news, right? So very, very hot topic. So write your answers and upload in the AKS app. Thank you very much. All the very best.